Okay, so in this video we're going to do basic thumb taping. Normally you'd want to tape directly to the skin just like any other tape job. But for this video I did put pre-wrap on. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your anchors. You're going to want one anchor down around the wrist. And then you're going to want one anchor around the thumb, just below the interphalangeal joint. And we're just going to lay that on. I have 1-inch tape for this. You can also use 1/2-inch tape, or if you have a really big hand, you can get away with 1.5-inch, go for it. So first thing we're going to do after we have all our anchors there is we're going to start putting banana strips on. And these are just a series of strips that are going to be layered from anchor to anchor. That might be a little long. I'm going to start on the inside of the thumb, and we're just going to layer by half all the way around. You're probably going to get about 4 to 6 out of this, depending on how big your hand is. I might just get 4. And another important thing for most hand and thumb taping procedures is that you want your athlete or your patient to be in a functional position, kind of like they're holding a can. You don't want it to be stiff one way or the other, because that's just not going to be functional in the game. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a couple C-strips. I'm going to start on the back of the wrist, back of the hand, and come right over the top. We're going to put 2 or 3 of these, depending on the size of your athlete. Layering by half. And we want to cover that MCP joint of the thumb, and we're kind of locking those banana strips. And now we're going to do a couple horseshoe strips, which is similar to the football taping, just like a C strip, but opposite on the other side. I'm gonna put a couple there, 2 to 3 is probably good. Make sure those are all laid down nice and smooth. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a Lawrence strip, just like we did in the football hand, wrist, and thumb taping. Gonna take about 6 inches or so and tear right down the middle. We're gonna try to make an H out of this. And this is mostly to close this here in the webbing of the hand. I'm gonna try to wedge that right in there. These 2 tails are gonna go around the back of the thumb, and these 2 tails are gonna close more down around the hand. All right. Now we're gonna do our spica strips. And these are probably the main support strips, I would say, of this taping job. So we're gonna take probably a little bit longer than the Lawrence strip. And since we're trying to support this kind of movement, we want to resist this kind of movement, we're going to try to tape them with support going this way. And so how we're going to do that is we're going to kind of floss this in here into the web. And we want our line of pull to be in the direction of the ligaments that we're wanting to support. So I'm going to want my X, or I'm going to want my tails to cross right here on the back of the thumb. I'm going to take another one. I can layer that, maybe have the X a little bit more to the side to offer a little bit more support to that MCL, that medial collateral ligament of the thumb. Try not to put too much tension in here. We still want to maintain motion and function of the distal part of the thumb. Now that we have our spicas, we're going to secure those spicas with a couple more C-strips. Couple more from the wrist, halving up towards the thumb. Maybe one more just to give a little bit more support to that MCP joint. Just 2 or 3, just like you did earlier. And then we're going to put a couple more stirrups, just like we did earlier. And we're going to close with one or two just circular strips here around the wrist to kind of close in all the ends of those horseshoes and spicas and C-strips. And then we're going to do we can do one figure 8 here with our 1-inch tape just to lock everything down into place, cover up any loose ends that we might have had. I'm going to start going through the hand, come up and around the back of the hand, and then we're going to finish right where we started our figure 8. And now we're going to check, make sure this thumb can still move. I did cover up a little bit of that joint. I might want to nip that down just a little bit. Make sure that can still move. Make sure we mold. And if we want to, if we have some Conform or some Powerflex, we can close it all in with that if they're ready to go out and play with that. But I don't have any right now, so we're not going to do that in this video. So that is a basic thumb taping.